Today I want to show you how to deploy a Laravel app to deploy now with deploy now via GitHub Actions. Starting point is a Laravel project with the newest version 9.9. It's a freshly created Laravel project with the Laravel package Jetstream to add some features for registration, authentication, and so on. And I use the inertia Vue.js stack with Jetstream. And nothing more is in this project, in this repository. So now I want to show how to put it to deploy now with our new setup wizard. The project I want to show you is at GitHub, at my space. It's this repository. Let's start. That's our dashboard, and I want to add a new project. So here I have the possibility to take a project from my own connected GitHub account. That are the repository. One repository is in use. And I have also the possibility to take sample projects or a third-party repository. In this case, I want to take the project that I created. That repository has one branch, the main branch. I want to take it. Let's go to the next step. And that was the detection. The little circle was a detection, and our detection detected a Laravel. And for Laravel, we need a PHP project in deploy now. It fits. And I could also take a static project, but it makes no sense because Laravel needs PHP. So let's go to the next step, build. Our detection detects two build steps, one Node.js step and one Composer step. Let's go inside. The detection detected that Node is used in version 16 and we need two commands, npm ci and npm run production. I could add more commands with suggestions, but in this case it's enough. That are the commands I need. Here are the environment variables that goes to this build action. Site URL and CI are prepared from us. I don't need more variables here. So let's go to Composer. We detected version 8 because the constraints in the Laravel Composer JSON, but I want to take the newest PHP version 8.1. Composer 2 is the latest, it's okay. And we detected the commands Composer install with optimized autoloader and no dev, so no dev dependencies. And the command to generate the artisan key, but I don't want it. I delete it because I want to add the key in the GitHub secrets. Here I have the possibility to add environment variables too, but I don't need one. I also have the possibility to add other build steps and run a command or another composer, but in this case it's enough. And last thing at this page is the output path. So the directory that gets copied to IONOS web space at the end. In this case, it's the whole repository, so the document root. Let's go to Runtime. Runtime is a part that happens on IONOS web space, so I need a PHP runtime, for example, at build actions at GitHub, and I need a PHP version at IONOS web space. In most cases, it's the same, so 8.1. Here I have the possibility to create a database and create a mail account. And if I set this checkbox, it's automatically generated and stored in variables that I can use in my environment file. Our detection knows that in most cases in Laravel projects, the sample end file is under .env.sample. And so it takes the content of this file, put it here and say, okay, it should be the .env file on the web space. Let's rework this file and put some variables here. So at name, I want confetti for life. Environment, I want to be that it's production and no debug. And the app key, I could generate it with the artisan command, or I want to store it in the GitHub secrets. Let's do this. I start my local environment here with Laravel sale, very easy. And then I generate a key and show it. I copy this and put it in the GitHub secrets with the name Laravel app key. And yes, I want to store it as a secret so nobody can read it out. And if I want to add this GitHub secret in this environment file, I make this double curly braces dot secrets and dot, and then the name of the GitHub secret, in this case Laravel app key, close the curly braces, and that's it. In the deployment, it's changed with a real Laravel app key we defined here. So app URL, there is a variable too. It's not a secret, it's a runtime variable. The difference is the runtime variable is generated in deployment and GitHub secrets are in the GitHub store before. So dot runtime dot, and the name is app URL. So now there are variables and log is okay, it's a stack. Database. So we generate a database here and we generate this with this variables. So user, password, host, and name. And if we want to put it to our end file, we need .runtime2 and then .key. So let's take it for the host. It's curly braces, .runtime, .db, .host. So that's it. I have prepared it here to that you don't have to see me writing so long. And this part puts the runtime variables for db to our .env file on web space later. Same with mail. I could use mail services like Mailgun, AWS, SES or something, or use an own SMTP server, but I can create a SMTP here too. And that are the variables if I want to send mails with this created mail account. It's a GitHub secret, yes. Here it's a database, it's a runtime variable. Mail is a GitHub secret. And if I want to address it, double curly braces, dot secrets, dot, and then the name, for example, IONOS mail host, close the curly braces. So I prepared it too. Looks like that. So let's go to deployment. Deployment is the thing that happens on our web space when deployment or build at GitHub was successful. We have two parts, bootstrap recurring. Bootstrap happenings every first build of every branch, recurring the other times. We can force the bootstrap too, but most important, only the first build is bootstrap, the others are recurring. So we have the excludes. Excludes are the folders that are not copied from our GitHub build to the web space. For example, node modules, you don't need it at your web space because you build your assets at GitHub. And here are the post-deployment remote commands. For example, to put Laravel in maintenance mode, set file permissions, migrate the database, and so on. Things that you don't do at GitHub, but at our web service. And we detect this command. You can add more if you have special commands that should be run when deployment is finished, and you can remove them. And for me, it's okay. And this would be Bootstrap and the post-deployment remote commands. There would be the place for you to see the database, for example, because only the first deployment of every branch you want to see the database. The other deployments you want to keep the data in the database. Let's take a look at recurring. There are excludes too. Yeah, it fits. It's the same like Bootstrap with the storage folder because we want to keep the storage folder of Laravel because data goes in it, use data goes in it. Yes, and then here are pre-deployment remote commands because before we start the deployment and the copy of the files, we want to take Laravel in the maintenance mode, then copied files, and then we have the post-deployment remote commands, so set file permissions, optimize, clear, and so on and so on. Yeah, let's go to the summary and look if all is right. Yes, it's the right repository. We have Node.js build step with this both commands. We have the composer with this command. We have our output path. We have the .env file with the variables that are swapped in the deployment. We create a database. We have the htaccess for our web space, and we have the deployment commands. Wonderful. Let's make it happen and create a project. So now the project gets created. It needs a few seconds. I show you what we do, and there is the project. It's created at our dashboard, and that's the detail view of it. And now let's go to GitHub and view the build logs. Here we see that there's running a deployment. We can see there are fetch project data, then set up node, set up composer, and then the deployment action. So then I show you what's happening in our repository. I pull the main branch, and you see there is something happened. What's happened? There was a commit at IONOS deploy now workflow. There is a .deploy now folder in your repository. There is a template of the .env file. There's the template of the .htaccess file. And there is a config YAML where the commands, the post-deployment and recurring bootstrap commands are in it. So the things we defined in the wizard. And there is a .github folder with the deploy now workflow. And they are the IONOS actions. So this action, for example, to copy it to the web space and set up composer and build node assets and so on and so on. So if you want to change a thing, so you would you like to use composer without nodev or so, you can delete it here, save it and commit it to your repository, and that's it. So you can change the things you are set up in the project wizard. Same with the .env template, same with htaccess template, and same with the config YAML. You can change it with your editor, commit it, and then it's happening. So let's take a look what our deployment at GitHub does. So I'm here at build node assets. It takes a little time. You know it from your own computer. Yes, in the meantime, we could look here at the tail. We have a domain, and this is it's a domain you can use to see your page, but you can also use a own domain. Here are all your IONOS domains, and if I want to connect a domain or a subdomain, I can do it here, select it, and then it's done. And then I have a real domain for my project. So if we take a look at the deployment, we created the database, and that's the deploy to IONOS action. So copying all files, and then migrating database. And so that are the post-deployment commands of the Bootstrap. So let's take a look here. Yeah, we have a screenshot. We have an up and running Laravel application and a little bit of confetti. So there is a database behind it. We can register, for example. Yeah, and then we take a trash mail address. Yeah, let's take a look at the database. We find it here. Here is our production deployment, our main branch, and we can jump to PHP my admin. And if we go here, we see, there's our database, there's our users table, and there is my user. Well, wonderful. So we have also the possibility to see the files that are on the web space. We take it with a deployment viewer, and if we go to the .env file, we see, okay, our variables with double curly braces was removed, and there is the GitHub secret app key, for example, or the app URL, or things like mail data and database data. So it fits. Yeah, if we want to change something, if we want to change the text, for example, we can do it in our file system. Welcome page, for example, and I want to that there is another text. Push it to the main branch, and then you see at our dashboard, building, there's a change. We can see the build log again, and so on and so on. And then after the new build is finished, there is a new version with a new text, and we can see it here. If the build is done, then there is a new screenshot. And if the build has failed, there is a text, build failing, look at the GitHub action log, and so on. We see a new version, new screenshot. The text seems right. Yeah, confetti, confetti, confetti. So, last feature to test, the email. I want to log in, but I forgot my password. Oh no. I can send an email reset link. So it's done. Let's look at our inbox. And there's the mail with the mail from address we added via a variable to our .env file. So, I hope you enjoyed it and you enjoy our product. And now, at the end, I want to give you some confetti.